Hey, how we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all smelling good. So, as you've seen today, we're going to be diving into the new Scandal Pour Homme Intense from Jean Paul Gaultier. Brand new release. Yet again, picked myself up a decant. So, if you're at all interested in what I've got to say about this, then stick around. Yeah, welcome back, guys. Thanks for clicking on view. If what you're after is an unbiased opinion from an everyday lad, then you've come to the right place.
Now, this place is perfect for me.
So, the Scandal line, I don't actually have the EDT, but I did sample it. But it was pretty much not long before I sampled that also. Didn't really entertain myself with the line for a while. I don't know why, because that's great. Although synthetic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it smells synthetic, you know. But par for the course of something that performs well these days, you know, and that does perform very well. Incredible projection, which I'll get to in a minute. And then we have the Absolute, which a lot of people have said isn't as good because it doesn't project as well. It's a heavy parfum concentration, and it behaves like one. And if you wear it out in the wild while you're moving around and doing your duties, tasks, or whatever it is that you're trying to get done that day, then you'll start to appreciate it a bit more. It's not something that you would sit around and appreciate.
Sitting and waiting for something to happen.
Because you need to be turning back into your own scent trail in order to keep getting wafts of it. Works really well off the body heat as well, so activity sort of plays a factor in how much you appreciate this one, in my opinion. But I think it's fantastic. It's my favourite, and it's my favourite including this one. Yeah, thought we were on a roll.
Oh, come on, we were just on a roll now.
Last two designer scents that have been released this year I reviewed and I enjoyed. One more than the other, but I enjoyed them both. And that was going against the grain of what I was generally experiencing this year. I don't know if it's me, if it's my nose, and my nose is changing and I'm constantly on the search for something that will rouse a bit of interest and a bit of intrigue, or if it is actually just the way that designer releases are going now. Who knows? Get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the designer releases of the year so far, or designer releases in general?
You know, sometimes things aren't good enough.
Are they becoming a bit too samey? Are they becoming a bit too predictable, a bit too safe? Do you think that they're trying to aim it at certain age demographics? Now, if you were to go off the notes of some of the recent releases, you would think that they were aiming for a more mature audience. And I guess you could sort of say that for this, because now, harking back to the performance of Scandal Le Parfum, the black one there, I knew by what I'd read and sort of just even the colour of the bottle that this would have the closest resemblance to that. And I was right.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe I'm always right.
But I did a side-by-side comparison and it was pointless. It was pointless unless I was actually going in for a sniff. Because on this arm, I had this. And on this arm, I had that. And sat there, I couldn't smell any of this. Any of it at all. The Le Parfum dominated my airspace. So that sort of was my first introduction to the behaviour of this scent. The fact that it doesn't radiate, well, that's not strictly true. It does. I've wore it for sort of 2.5 consecutive days now, and part of the reason being that I was intending to do this review 2 days ago, But unfortunately, we received some really bad family news, like really bad family news, and it's taken a couple of days to process it, and I could just be sitting there wallowing, but instead I've decided to fill my time and try and keep busy, so that therefore I can keep my mind off things and on other things. Yeah, sorry, let's just get away from that. Yeah, so I was planning on doing this review a couple of days ago, but that happened. So I thought, well, I'll just wear it for a couple of days. I'm sort of pleased I did, because this review would have been very, very short.
That was so quick.
Had I based it off my first impressions, because my first impressions were awful. But after a couple of wears, it's redeemed itself a little. So in the first couple of hours, when you wear it without that one, it is actually very, very noticeable on yourself, by yourself, you know, out in the air, and it's pleasant. In fact, it's more than pleasant. I would say it's a nice smell. And what you're going to be greeted with here is pretty much that. Yet, it's not as sweet, and it's more aromatic. Now, the aromatics in the La Parfum don't really show their head. They do a little initially, but they don't really come into their own and gather their stride until, you know, you really are experiencing the dry down at this point, from the mid into the dry down. Yes, this is all about the aromatics, which I don't mind, but I wish it was all about the leather that's listed, because yet again, we have a designer release that claims to have leather in it, and it's nowhere to be found.
Where the hell is it?
Like, you're kidding yourself. If you think there's leather in this, you are kidding yourself. There's no leather in this, nowhere. I've worn it for, like I said, 2.5 consecutive days, not just on my skin, but on strip, and I've been analysing it. I mean, look, that was a 5mm decant. Can you see that? You see that? I've used over half of it. I've used over half of it in just under 3 days. So it's had my nose on it. It isn't just the first impressions, this, guys. This doesn't have any leather in it at any point of the wear at all. And if you think that it is, it's either because you're kidding yourself, or there is the slightest amount at some point in the wear and I've just missed it. I just didn't have my nose there at that time, or whatever. But nah, joke.
They're taking us for fools.
Joke, no breakdown. And leather's one of the 3 things that it lists. The other is clary sage and vetiver. Now, vetiver is in this, and it is sort of, I think it's in that too, even though it might not be listed in that. That was another joke, 3-note breakdown, although the 3 notes listed in that can be found in it. But I think, you know, the woody vetiver dry down is sort of like part of the Scandal line at this point, and the vetiver is here too. But it is a sweet woody vetiver. It's not smoky. It's not even soapy really, or grassy or earthy. It's just, I've got it on now. So this is what, 8:30, and I sprayed this at 5 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3:15, just before I took the dog for a walk. So at this point, it's a skin scent. You do notice it out in the air for, I mean, the first hour, it's fantastic. The first hour, it's lovely. It kind of leads you into a false sense of security, of thinking that I've got a banger on my hands.
Oh, this is a good one.
But yeah, now it's nearly gone at this point. 5 hours in, it's nearly gone. I didn't just put a spray on me now. I put a spray on each arm and around my neck, and I did enjoy the wearing experience of the first couple of hours, perhaps even the first 3. But then after 3 hours, like, so we've gone from 3 hours now to 5. The last 2 hours, I haven't even been able to smell it, and I've been, you know, active. I've been on my feet and walking about, and yeah. So, and this has been the same for the last 3 days.
It wasn't just me either. I didn't become anosmic or nose blind to this. The missus confirmed each time I wore it that this was the case. that it was weak.
After 3 hours, I can't smell it. And I'm not one for dogging something on performance, as long as it makes sense. If it's a light, airy, fresh fragrance with a high amount of naturals or something like that, I'm expecting it not to perform well. That comes at a trade-off of natural, good quality ingredients. This isn't. This doesn't have natural, good quality. Well, it maybe does, but it isn't based around the spine of natural, good quality ingredients. Now, what it has got going for it is it isn't as sickeningly sweet as that, or that, for that matter. Even though neither of them are like toothache inducing sweet, you know what I mean? But they are very sweet. This isn't as sweet. In fact, I would say it's less than half as sweet. It's more aromatic, and it would suit somebody who thinks that maybe these two are a bit juvenile. But I just, the lack of the leather is a big letdown. I should be used to it by now. It's probably 4 times this year so far, and the performance it's pretty woeful, if I'm honest. Now, although I liked Le Mal Elixir Absolute for the smell, the level of redundancy, it was a waste of time for me. I didn't think that it performed as well as the original Elixir either, and it was too similar. And it was obviously not upsetting. I'm not going to start crying.
Are you gonna cry?
But like, it was a bit of a letdown, well, more than a bit of a letdown, because up until this year, Gaultier has been probably one of my favorite designer houses because they never seem to miss. You might think, I mean, that smells lovely, that. It really does. I'm not going to, honestly, the smell of it smells lovely. Really, really does. Let's just get these two on strip so we can go side by side. Right, got them both on strip. This is that. Do you know what? Even just having this in your nose means that it's more difficult to smell this. This is far stronger. But like I said at the beginning, it is more synthetic and probably cheaper smelling as well, if I'm honest. It smells good. It does smell good. But not having my lovely leather even detectable in it. At least in Wanted Elixir, it was detectable. It wasn't like I like to appreciate it. But I mean, Bad Boy Elixir was a bit more rugged than how I smelled it in Forever Wanted Elixir. But it's not detectable at all here. At all. Nowhere to be found.
We've been searching for you.
And it's weak. It's weak. But for the 3 hours that I could detect it, it could even stretch to 4, maybe. I mean, I can still smell it now. If I bury my nose in, if I go right up to my skin, it's a skin scent at this point. And, you know, I can still smell it. Yeah, it just smells like aromatic wood at this point. So, guys, it did redeem itself a little bit over the last 2 days. Because my first impression, I didn't even know what to think. Because when I was doing the side-by-side and all I could smell was that. And even when I got close in, I was just not impressed. And I'm still not suitably impressed, if I'm honest.
If you're trying to impress me, you've failed.
If you want to know what it smells like without even smelling it, just water that down and take away some of the sweetness, and you're pretty much there. In my opinion, you're pretty much there. I'll wear it a couple more times maybe, but I don't feel like I need to. I'm pleased I didn't buy a bottle. It's just a slightly woodier, slightly more aromatic, less sweet and weaker version of that. There's no leather in it, and that's my summary. So unfortunately, guys, now I'm gonna have to be more critical now. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, 5 at push. Let's call it a 5. Be a little bit more generous to them. Yeah, let's call it a 5 out of 10. And if I didn't expect leather in it, it might manage a 6. But there's no excuse for a formulation like this to perform so poorly. There isn't. There isn't. And naming it intense, in what measurable facet is this intense? Intense disappointment? Intense letdown? Intense Mr. Droopy? Gone from rock hard to a flaccid?
You've gone soft.
Anyway, that'll about do it, guys. Thanks very much for your continued support. It means the world to me. If you've liked this video, then please hit the like button down below. It helps YouTube recognize that you're appreciating my nonsense, and subscribe as well, because if you haven't subscribed, you're not going to be in with a chance of winning the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which I'm only about 50 subs away from now. So any week, month now. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the bell notification icon down below so that you can be notified next time I upload some scented nonsense. So until next time, guys, make sure you stay safe, take care, keep smelling good, and I'll see you again.